Who wants to learn how to make yogurt? Welcome back to the homestead. So every time I go to my farmer down the road, my dairy farmer, I buy 2 gallons of milk in this container. And then I let it sit for a while. I don't know if you can see, but there's a line here, right here at this lip. This is all cream right here, which, as you can tell, I think, is not very much in the grand scheme of 2 gallons of milk. So, yeah. Sometimes I will skim the milk, the cream off of the top, which is why I kind of let it sit for a while before I start to make my yogurt. But I have cream in the fridge right now, so I'm going to go ahead and just reincorporate everything with a whisk and get it all back incorporated. And then I will pour what I need to into the crock-pot, which I have preheated on high. So in this first step, I'm going to reincorporate the cream into the milk, so it won't be skim, it'll be full fat. And then once I get this all mixed up to my satisfaction, I'm going to use this measuring cup to dip in there, and I could pour it, but sometimes it gets a little messy when I do that, so I'll go ahead and do the dipping until I get to about here, because you want to leave enough room for your starter culture. So if you fill the thing up, it tends to overflow, and I've learned that the hard way a couple times. Alright, so I measured out 3 quarts plus 1 cup and left a little room so that I can mix my cup of starter culture. So now what you're going to do is you're going to let this cook on high for about 2.5 hours until the temperature on a candle thermometer or thermometer reaches 220 degrees. So that's the goal, and it normally takes about 2.5 hours. So now the milk has been cooling. It got up to 220, so we need it to be under 120 now, and unfortunately it still needs to come down a bit, about, I don't know, 5 to 10 degrees. So we're gonna leave it and set the timer for another 30 minutes and come back. Alright, so we have waited for 30 minutes, and now time to check again. And I wanted to say that when I started the cool down process, which takes about 3.5, maybe 4 hours, depends, I also get the starter out so that it can come to room temperature. If you put it in when it's cold, it will bring the temperature of the yogurt down really fast, and you don't want that to happen. Oh, it's still reading 125, so another 5 degrees to go. So it's not an exact science. Sometimes you get it in 3.5 hours, and sometimes it takes longer. You're funny. Alright, so the temperature is now staying under 120 degrees. So that means you can add your starter culture. Now, to a gallon, I add, this is a half pint, so what's that, 8 ounces? But first, you don't have to do this, but I always skim this floating kind of milk, what do you call that? It's like a skin kind of a thing. And I skim that off because it leaves kind of a chunkiness in the yogurt when it's done. So you can give it to your chickens or your pets. I give it to the dog. She loves it. So there's that. And now, very gently, you want to pour your culture in, and I whisk it as I pour. And like I said earlier, if you have too much milk in here, when you do this, you don't have enough room. So you want to make sure you don't fill your crock-pot up too much. Alright, and that's basically it. So now that it's all stirred in, we're going to cover it up. So now that you've got your starter in, you're going to take a couple of towels or blankets, and you're going to totally cover this. So this is off, it's unplugged, and this is just to help it retain the heat for as long as possible to make the cultures work and make your yogurt. So it's about 9:15 now. At around 9:15 in the morning, I'll check it. It should have cooled down all the way. Sometimes it's 12 hours, sometimes it's 18 hours. It just depends. But this is going to, kind of create that heat to make it slowly cool down.